Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well today. If you're out traveling or voting, I hope you're safe and get home safe. And today I just thought I would do the topic. It's going to be very short and sweet, and it's going to be on something called GABA because half of the United States is going to be looking for this coming up pretty soon. So no matter what, I believe that the right thing is going to happen with what's in accordance into God's plans. But nevertheless, this is a topic that I'm sure you're going to wish you had some on hand. And if you don't have any GABA on hand, if you're local to Flint, you can come over and pick some up and I'll pass them out like little gumballs. So what we're talking about today is a chewable or supplement called GABA. And there's a really long GABA abulene acid, a long word that goes along with that, but I already butchered it. I don't want to try to butcher it again. But GABA is just something that is just so amazing that I have found out about probably like 7 years ago now. And if I would have known about it when my children were younger and I knew about MSG back then, I didn't eat that and artificial sweeteners in my diet soda. And if I took GABA, I probably would have got the best mom award. But I drank diet soda, had a lot of MSG, and I didn't know about GABA, so I didn't. But you can always improve and try moving forward, even though my kids are 21 and 24. So nevertheless, this is a product that can benefit all age people. If you don't need it, you'll know how you feel by taking it, but this is just something that I find very dear. And what I'm doing is a series starting with talking. And I don't want to say I'm going over my favorite topics first, but sort of like essentials. Like yesterday was water, if you didn't know. So tomorrow will be good fats. And nevertheless, we'll just keep on going. If you have any questions, make sure you put the notes in the comment section. If you want to subscribe to knowing when I'm doing a live video, go to the 3 little dots and you can say, notify me when Stacey's going live. If you don't know me already and you're just tuning in for the first time, my name is Stacey Kimbrell and I wrote a book. It's called Living Balanced. It's on health, nutrition, and chemical awareness. And this is my passion, is teaching about chemicals and how they affect us and getting rid of those, what it can do in our body and our mind and our spirit, and taking in good nutrition, whole foods, learning about what you can do for yourself preventatively, and just trying to keep your body in a state of homeostasis, which means complete health. And that's with everything you do, whatever you say, whatever you think, whatever you do, whatever you eat, all of this, we can try to do our best to come together to help ourselves live as long and happy as possible. Okay, so that's exciting. Now, back to GABA, so I can try to keep this to my 15 minutes and respect your time as well. GABA is a protein building block of the brain. It's an amino acid. All of our bodies are supposed to make this. If you've had any genetic makeup done, then you can go see what your markers are for if you need GABA genetically. Our whole family's been tested genetically, and we're definitely short in GABA, which I guess I could have told you that already if I would have known what it was back in the day. So some people it's very important to. If you don't have enough genetically, once again, you can support yourself. If you do, then when you take this, you may not feel a difference and you don't need it, right? If you know you have a problem with MSG or monosodium glutamate or yeast extract or artificial sweeteners or neurotoxins, then you definitely can benefit from some GABA, because GABA helps to combat the, what's that called? The glutamic acid in the body. Okay, and neurotoxins. It helps to calm down the nervous system. So I am very stringent in making sure I don't get MSG, and like I'll call places before I go to eat. If there's something questionable, I just won't eat, or I won't get it, or I'll just have this, or whatever the case is. Like I honestly do not compromise with dips and chemicals and soups and all this kind of stuff, because I know it just turns me into a very angry person when I get MSG. Okay, and it just does. There's nothing I can do about it. I can be aware as a perspective now, and then, put myself in my room, take my GABA, do this, do that, drink a lot of water. But this is something that back in the day, I didn't know what the problem was, and really created a huge problem in our whole household, especially between Austin and I, because we're both really affected by MSG products, and it affects us different ways. So nevertheless, if you had genetic testing done, you can tell by that. If you take this, you should be able to know it's safe for adults and kids. And you can do, of course, what's recommended for you. You can do some research. A lot of the research says you can have up to 2,000 milligrams a day, although I don't even remotely take that much, but I have friends that do and different things. So we'll go over that in a little bit. But GABA is a protein building block of the brain. It's an amino acid that helps with concentration, calming, and focus are the main three things. So especially if you have someone with cognitive issues like myself, someone who has been labeled with ADD, not that we accept our labels, someone who's autistic, has other sensory issues, you can use it for a myriad of different things, but it really helps with calming, concentration, and focus. When I first started using this, I've been teaching on this, and I've always suggested people try this, although I didn't try it myself. I'm like, I'm all that, I don't need this, right? And so when I finally had it, Steve and I went out of town to Chicago for a conference. And when I was there, I forgot it. And it was like 2 days in, I was like, where's my GABA? And it was like the first week I'd have taken for like 3 weeks, I didn't have it. And oh my gosh, I felt such a difference. So I just like left, went to find a health food store and found some and started taking it. And I was like, so it's amazing. This is just like literally one of my favorite supplements for me personally, and that has helped many people. And I'll be posting the images of these later as well. So that will be exciting. So anyhow, moving forward, let me tell you what a GABA deficiency can look like. And of course, a lot of things can overlap. So let's say if you have at least one bullet point has more than one thing. So let's say if you had like 3 bullet points, you probably should look into some GABA. If you got like 4 or 5, you really should be taking some GABA. And if you got like more than 5, your mama and or your daddy need some GABA, because this is something that is genetic, okay? And that we can pass down. So let me just read to you some of these. So one bullet says, if you struggle with a regular basis, not because a tree just fell or whatever, anxiety, restlessness, or excess worry. If your mind just keeps going and going and going and you can't stop, and you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like thinking and thinking and thinking, or you can't go to sleep because you're thinking and thinking and thinking, GABA could be something that could possibly help you with that. If you have an overactive mind, I skipped ahead here. If you have an overactive mind when trying to sleep, okay, lack of concentration or focus, this really does help me. Control specialist, that is me, a perfectionist, a workaholic, or overachiever. I say specialist because you specialize in control, not a control freak, because that makes it sound bad. But if that's you, or if you go somewhere and you see a picture that's tilted and you have to fix it, and just so you know, if I'm at an office somewhere, like one time I was with someone at a doctor's office, and they still had their sticker from Target, and they had the little price tag on it. I'm just like, are you keeping this or not? So I asked the receptionist lady, I'm like, are you guys keeping this vase? And like, yeah, can I take off the price tag and the sticker? Because like, that's really irritating to me, right? If I had GABA, it could be irritating, but I wouldn't have asked her, can I take off your price tag for you since you're keeping this product? Or if the picture's crooked, if I'm teaching somewhere and I'm looking and behind all the people, there's a picture frame and it's like crooked like this, that will drive me nuts. If I have GABA in my system, I'm like, oh, that's annoying, but I can keep teaching and not be hyper-focused on that. So that's how it helps me, especially in that whole area. If you're quick to become impatient when delays or unproductive time, that's me. So this really helps me. Consistent sense of urgency or struggle against the clock, that's me again. If you have to do more than one thing at a time, I've always been that way since I can remember. If you have a low tolerance for incompetence, that's unfortunately me as well. So as you can imagine, this is affected just with those things alone, those concentration, focus, down, those things is just amazing what is done for me personally. And obviously that would trickle down to my family, to how it's helped them as well, because I'm not as controlling, freaky as some of these things just described. Let's see here. If you suffer with depression, OCD, ADD, autism, ADHD, those kinds of things, and GABA can really help out. Now, of course, if someone has depression, then most likely we know they probably have a lack of good fats and a lack of hormones in their body. So you should address always the root cause of the problem. But nevertheless, this could possibly help as well. If someone even suffers with anger, bipolar, schizophrenia, this is something that can help. If someone's trying to come off a substance like drinking coffee, drinking alcohol, smoking anything, drugs, usually in treatment centers, GABA is highly prescribed and used because how it helps with calming the nervous system so their cravings aren't as great. Let's see, gastrointestinal disorders or butterflies in the stomach. If you're the kind of person who gets really nervous before you go take a test or have to go do something and your stomach gets in this giant knot, you could use peace and calming, which is one of my favorite things. This is almost like the same thing to me, but I only got like a bottle of this and this helps me genetically. So I use them both, believe me. But you could use peace and calming, valor, breathe it in. But GABA, if you really get that much knotted up, then GABA is probably something that would probably benefit you. If you just constantly crave carbohydrates, if you have a problem with hyperventilation or tachycardia, palpitations or high blood pressure or chest pain or discomfort or flushing, and you're talking about because you just got mad or you're angry at Facebook right now with all the different things going on, I don't know, whatever the case is, this is something that could help you possibly as well. If you suffer with chronic sweating or cold or clammy hands, GABA could be your thing. Trembling or twitching or migraines, that can help with it as well. If you have that really weird allergy or like lump in a throat and you feel like you can't swallow and it's not something that's a more serious condition, if you have an abnormal sense of smell, cystitis, tinnitus, blurred vision, even PMS, this can help. Pain and any kind of neurological issue, this can help. Highly affected, once again, I already said this, but when consuming MSG, this is another big one that makes a big difference. So usually how I suggest for someone to do this and how we've done it in our household, this is a chewable. Right now, the whole world is out of Now brand chewables. And I don't take too many Now brand supplements, but I have done so many different research and tests on people taking the Now brand chewable GABA, that's 250 milligrams. If you're taking 500, it'd be 2 capsules versus other brands. And no one seems to notice a difference. So this is pretty inexpensive overall because everyone doesn't always have the means to spend on a lot of things. A lot of the brands are going to be like 100 milligrams. And at a health food store can cost like $28, which is quite excessive. So this one right here is 250 milligrams. There's 90 tablets and it's like anywhere from $12 to $15 on Amazon. Now, once again, the chewable, which I started taking before I did this class, and then I thought, let me wait so you can see I can take this internally. I think me and my neighbor have the last bottle of chewable GABA. But real quick on Facebook, if you've ever taken GABA, and you benefit from it, put a heart in the comments or tell your story so you can help encourage other folks. Because this is literally, I just would not want to do without this at all. So it's really important. So usually how I take it is I will take 1 chewable in the morning. I'll take 1 chewable in the afternoon. For sure, I'm taking 2. A lot of times I take 3. And then if I know if I got to deal with some mess or some crap just happened or stressed out, which usually I don't really get stressed, but I have to tell you, I feel like since I'm getting older, I'm 51 now, that, me trying to tell my brain, hey, this isn't a problem, let's just keep rolling. My body's a little bit more affected than it has been in the past. So you can't always run at 200 miles an hour and expect your body to still be happy about it. So I'm realizing sometimes that even though I can handle stress very well, and I'm more of like a last minute adrenaline. I work well underneath pressure, for example. It doesn't mean that my body's not absorbing this and stressed by the situation. So GABA has helped me out greatly with that. So if I know I have to go deal with some mess, I'll probably take a GABA. And I love the chewable because just like aromatherapy, I know what it smells like. I know what it tastes like. I know in a few minutes it's going to have this effect over me that is pleasing to me and everyone else around me. Now my girlfriend, she takes the capsules and she takes 750 at a time. My son can take 500 at a time, and back in the day and just go to school. But 500 is too much for me. And now, of course, why take more than if you don't need more, right? So usually I'll just take 250 at a time. And then if I need more, I can graduate on that. Where my girlfriend, she already just takes 3 750 at a time. I mean, not at a time, but like throughout the day. Okay. If I took that, I would straight fall asleep. Like I wouldn't even be able to stay awake. So that's sort of how you can do it with children. You can look up the doses online. You could break the chewable in half. You could sprinkle it in the applesauce if you feel that someone needs that. So if you have a kid who's really regimented and gets stressed out, and not because he's watching some scary movie that he shouldn't be probably watching and all that kind of stuff, but if they line up their cars and they got to do things, they got a little OCD or, you know, whatever, then this is something that could really probably help them out as well. And especially if you have that tendency, then most likely if you have children, one of them is going to have that tendency. And then of course, there's many different oils. That's not the topic for oils today, but like Peace and Calming Valor, Stress Away. There's a whole kids line Young Living has. If you're not familiar with that, let me know. And they're great. Okay. So let's see here. Yeah. Okay. GABA benefits. Let me just say it in the positive way, and I'll post both of these, and then we'll get off because it's almost 6 o'clock and now people are going to be tuning in for the news. Okay, reduces anxiety, restlessness, excess worry, and anger. Promotes concentration and focus. Reduces the effects of MSG in your body. Helps you to fall asleep faster and improves your quality of sleep. Helps you that if you woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you have adrenal issues, for example, that would just help you fall right back to sleep and you wouldn't just be thinking and thinking and thinking. Improves your relaxation, your reaction to low tolerance for incompetence. Very true. Diminishes the urge to be a control specialist, a perfectionist, or overachiever, or workaholic. It's not going to stop you from doing that, but you won't be so anal retentive about it. Lessens the impulse to become impatient with delays and unproductive time. Stops the consistent sense of urgency or struggle against the clock. Eases the urge to multitask and actually just be able to relax and watch a movie. Like my son always says, like, Mom, do you have to do that while we're watching the movie? I was like, yeah, because like that's sort of like a waste of time to me, right? So if I take a GABA, I can usually sit there and enjoy the movie without feeling bad I'm not doing and being more productive. Helps to reduce depression, OCD, ADD, even some symptoms of autism, bipolar, PMS, and hyperventilation, tachycardia, chest pain, blood pressure, cystitis, trembling, twitching, cold and clammy hands, especially any kind of neurological issues is amazing. Now, this is not, if you just know about prescriptions, this is not gabapentin, but this is GABA, the root cause of stuff without the pharmaceutical twist on it. Okay. So this is interesting. Once again, this is one of my favorite, literally one of my favorite products. If you've experienced it, please just put a little note in here to help people understand how you or your family have used it and if it's benefited you and how. Once again, if you do take it, I have not noticed any severe side effects from this from people. If you don't need it, then you won't feel a difference. Like I felt a difference just taking it for one day, to be honest with you. But you sort of just, you know, ask your family, your friends, the people you hang out all the time, say, hey, I'm going to try something new. If these things sort of fit your personality types. And, by the end of this week, I want you to let me know if I'm different in some way, shape or form. Okay. And be receptive to that information, of course. And if it doesn't work for you, then you should just be able to tell. Okay. So no worries if it doesn't, but if it does, and believe me, it's benefited so many people that I've known that we're all just thankful for the opportunity to even try it. So I hope you all have a blessed night. And once again, if you're looking for my book, if you don't have it yet, it's a great, quick, easy, precise, specific read. It's on health and nutrition and chemical awareness. It's called Living Balanced. You can get on Amazon or my website, livinganointed.com. Stacey Kimbrell here. Thanks so much for your time and have a great night. All right, bye-bye.